This is a featured UK Talk Radio Top Business.
UK Talk Radio, Jonathan Hines, great to have your company here on UK Talk. We've not only got the music you love, right from the 70s to the present day, but also the chat you enjoy, and we love our self-improvement and all our esoteric subjects as well here on UK Talk Radio. Now in the studio is our resident hypnotherapist from the Bournemouth and Poole area, Lynn Mitcham. Welcome again, Lynn.
Thank you for having me back.
Always a pleasure to have you in front of me, Lynn, in the studio. Lynn, you've been in practice now for 2 or 3 years. Obviously, it goes without saying that you deal with phobias.
Yes.
Now, I noticed an article, actually, that I wanted to ask you about, Lynn, in the Bristol Post from a few days ago, in this month of August, about a course they're doing at Bristol Zoo to help people with their terror or phobia of spiders.
Yes, yeah, that's really interesting, yes.
Yeah. Have you heard of courses for specific phobias like that?
I haven't, no. Very often people do come to us, obviously, for phobias or help with phobias, including the one of spiders, because that's a very common one.
Yeah.
Does tend to be once the phobia gets sufficiently strong that they can't cope with it or it's affecting their lives too much, then they will come for help. And then, yeah, I mean, the spider one is great because, of course, at the zoo there you've got the spiders handy, because that is the ultimate test, is to try and acclimatise the client to actually approach a spider and even hold a spider, so that they can deal with them when they come across them in their everyday life. Or
as in my mum's case, it would be mice.
Yeah, that's another one. Yes.
I said to her the other day when she was terrified when she saw a mouse, and I said if you can confront the fear and just look at one, because it was a dead mouse that the cat had brought in. I said just look at it, confront it. It'd make you feel so much better.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't think she agreed.
That the fear is often irrational. And the conscious mind very often knows it's irrational. They know, this little mouse or this little spider is going to be more afraid of you than you are of it.
Yes.
But there is that fear there that's been generated, sometimes by something that's come from the past. You've learnt that fear from somebody else, or something has happened to bring on that fear.
Yeah.
And then it gets into your subconscious, and then it's there.
Yeah.
Whereas the hypnotherapy, because we can access the subconscious, that's where the change can be made to just change around the way that we think about that object.
And for anybody who's a bit sceptical about hypnotherapy, it does have a 70 to 80% success rate.
It does, yes. Yeah.
And with this course, half the people felt more relaxed when coming, when having spiders put right in front of them.
That's excellent.
At Bristol Zoo, and they've got these courses coming up in September at £95.
Yep.
And at the beginning, people get the chance to discuss what seeing a spider does to them.
Yes, that's excellent. Yes.
Is that one of the first things you do, Lynn? Is you try and you get the person to describe what it's doing to them and what reaction their body and mind is having to something?
That's right, because everybody has a slightly different reaction. So knowing how someone reacts, we can then help them to just reframe the way that they think and the way that they react, and help them to get rid of that old behaviour that they have whenever they get that trigger, be it a spider or a mouse or a bird, whatever, and get rid of the old behaviour and introduce a new behaviour, to enable them to deal with the object of their phobia.
Lynn, you were going to tell us about some other specific examples. Obviously we can't mention any names, but people and phobias you've dealt with in the last month or so.
Yes, yeah. There was the lady with the fear of being sick and the fear of vomit. Again, it's not a fear that you think of very often, but surprisingly, it's quite a few people do have that fear. Often, it's because it's so unpleasant to be sick yourself. They're afraid of that, or they're afraid of somebody else being ill around them. So that's one that I helped with. And then there has been a lady with a fear of spiders. She lived on her own in the country, lots of spiders came into the house and she needed to be able to deal with them. So I was able to help her. Yes.
And that was, I'm sure, successful as well.
Yes. She hasn't been back, so hopefully, yes. And then water, of course, that's another common one.
Yes.
Often that can be brought on sometimes by being thrown into a pool by children, as a child, or being dunked under the water. That can bring on a fear, which then continues into adulthood. And then flying, of course. Flying, I have seen people with a fear of flying. That is something which doesn't affect people in their everyday life on the whole, unless they have to fly for business. But most people will fly to go on holiday, and if they want to go on holiday, then they come for help with the flying.
And birds.
And birds, yes, yeah. Yeah, anything that affects your life, you are likely to want help with, if it's a phobia.
August is often a quiet month, isn't it? But September, well, who knows? What people are going to come to you with in September.
Yes,
and just to, I know you've explained this many times, but just to recap, exactly in a nutshell, how hypnotherapy works, what it does to the mind.
Yes. Hypnotherapy is a deep relaxation, a trance state, and while you're relaxed like that, your conscious mind wanders off, and it enables the therapist to actually access your subconscious, and that's where the fears and the old behaviours that you want to get rid of, that's where they will be lodged. And through suggestion and visualisation, the therapist can then help you to change those fears and those behaviours. So that over time, it's not an instant change, but over time you can make those changes and move forward with your life without those behaviours and fears that have been holding you back.
So it's a type of it is a type of counselling, isn't it?
It is, yes. I mean, counselling is very much part of it as well.
Yeah. And of course, more and more people are trying this out now. It's becoming more and more mainstream.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah. It's more recognised by the mainstream medical profession now, and I think even the I can't think what they're called now, the Medical Council, I think they've been advised that they can actually, or the GPs can actually refer for hypnotherapy, although it's still not available under the NHS.
No.
But perhaps that will come.
And of course, very intriguing, Lynn, your particular niche, your particular speciality, the gastric band. I just love this. This is really cutting edge. Tell us more about that.
Well, that it's a hypnogastric band, and that's where I actually convince or help people convince themselves that they have had a gastric band fitted.
Yes.
So they automatically eat less, and then I also help them with suggestion and visualisation so that they eat better. They make better choices, eat more healthily. So they're eating less, they're eating more healthily, and they will be losing weight until they achieve the weight that they want to be.
Yes, and you create a virtual operating theatre environment, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. A soundtrack with all the beeping of the monitors and things like that.
And the smell.
That's right. Yes, yeah. And they wear an operating gown as well.
Yeah.
To just all help to convince their mind that they are actually having the operation. And most clients can actually feel something happening. Now, it's only their mind that's doing that.
Yes.
There's nothing actually happening to them physically. But then if they are very good at visualisation, and even if they're not very good at visualisation, their minds will think that they are having this operation, but without the all the attendant discomforts and risks, if you like, of actual surgery.
And this is quite rare, I suppose, Lynn, but if hypnotherapy doesn't seem to be working for somebody, would you just continue and see how it goes, or would you maybe suggest stopping and then starting again at some point?
Yes, I mean, it depends.
It's very, very rare, that, isn't it, really, that you can't help somebody?
It depends what is happening, really. Successful hypnotherapy does depend upon building up a relationship with the client, and with the best will in the world, we don't all get on with each other.
No.
So On the whole, I get on with people and I can get that empathy with them. But there will be some people that I can't.
Yes.
So therapy with them, it may still work, but it may not. And so I might suggest they actually see another therapist to see if they can find someone that they click with in the right way. Or if hypnotherapy just isn't for them, and I mean it isn't for some people, then I might suggest alternative therapies that they could try.
Yes. And of course, they have to, first the client has to let go and they have to trust, don't they? And
they
if
do.
There isn't that,
there has to be trust, yes.
And if they can't let go and they can't trust, then you're not going to get very far away.
No. And of course, they've got to want to make the changes too.
Yes. And Lynn, your website, please.
It's www.sylvan-therapies.co.uk.
That's Sylvan, SYLVAN -therapies.co.uk.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Great to see you in the studio here at UK Talk once again.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
This is a featured UK Talk Radio Top Business.